Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you didn't know, if you haven't seen, I just turned 24 last week, and now is the perfect time to film my 30 before 30. These are going to be 30 books, sort of, I want to read before I turn 30. I've got 6 years to read these. I've got plans to read some this year, but this is kind of to help me prioritize what to read, what to buy. I own some of these, but a lot of these I don't own. These are a lot of book series or authors that I'm really interested in. I have some. I do have some here, but I really want to have this list, this TBR of things that I want to get to before I turn 30. Things that I should have read a while ago, very popular things. You know, this is kind of like the master list of what didn't I read growing up that I should have. Also, if the lighting changes and gets a little weird, my cat is sitting in front of the window, so that might adjust things here and there. So while curating this list, I kind of wanted to take influence of things that people I know really love and enjoy that I want to read, things that I didn't really get a chance to read as a kid for one reason or another, as well as I wanted a list of books that I need to prioritize, things that I really want to get to, rather than just the many books on my shelves, because there are a lot. So I didn't want to pull TBRs that I already kind of had curated from other videos. I have like my 23 to read in 2023. I didn't want to pull a bunch of those because obviously I'm reading them this year. At least that's the goal. I didn't want to pull too many of the same books. Some of them might be repeats. I do know that some of these are on different TBRs. It's gonna happen, but most of these are books that I just really need to prioritize. So, starting with the first, I need to read the Lord of the Rings series by Tolkien, J.R.R. Tolkien. I was supposed to read The Hobbit last year, or this last year, and I didn't do either of those, so they're definitely on the agenda of books that I really need to read. This is my boyfriend's favorite series, so it just kind of makes sense that I read it, I give it a shot. Will you lay down, please? So it just makes sense that I have to read this. This is hesitantly on my list. Obviously, it's classic literature, it's classic fantasy, it has created so much in this world, so much inspiration has been pulled from the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I need to give it the attention that it does deserve. But at the same time, I'm so nervous. My hesitancy definitely comes from the fact that I've seen the movies. I know what it's about. I know the story. I'm nervous it's going to be incredibly drawn out. They're basically going on a very long quest and a hike through Middle-earth, which is beautiful, and I'm excited to see the writing, and I do know the characters, so I think that'll help, but I'm just nervous that I'm going to be a little bored, because it might be a little slow. But I'm going to give it a fair shot. I'm going to read it. At least. I'll read them. Whether or not I like them, that doesn't matter. I just have to read them. Is an author. It's more of an author than it is a necessarily book. But I do have a placeholder here, and it is Sarah J. Maas. I want to read the ACOTAR series. I think I want to read Throne of Glass. I don't know if I'll enjoy that one quite as much, and I do want to read Crescent City. I have Crescent City, as you can see. I don't have ACOTAR. I don't have Throne of Glass. Those are very big series, and I'm just not sure if I'm ready to invest, but they're definitely high on the list of priority. I really want to give them a shot. ACOTAR is like one of the most beloved books on BookTube and BookTok and just like people who read. So I definitely want to try it. I have to know. I need to know. I've seen spoilers. I have seen hour-long spoilers of the ACOTAR series. I know what it's about. I know what happens, but I still need to give it a shot. So yeah, Sarah J. Maas as a whole. She's chunky, she's scary, there's so much. And I know that Sarah J. Maas is not without her own faults and problems. I know that there is definitely problematic things going on, but it's still just one of those things that I want to get to. The next two are kind of in the same vein. They are authors. I don't own these books. I don't know where to start with these authors quite yet either. So the first one being Robin Hobb, author of The Assassin's Apprentice, the Farseers trilogy, which spans into a universe of like 16 books and I think ongoing. And in the same vein, Brandon Sanderson. Boy howdy, they have so many books. I don't know where to start, especially with Brandon Sanderson's, because he's got his young adult series, he's got his adult series. I'm not sure where to start with him, but these are two very loved authors, especially in the fantasy genre, so I definitely want to give them a shot. Try them out. Austin has been reading Robin Hobb, The Assassin's Apprentice books, and he's enjoyed them. He's warned me of some of the content, so I'm a little bit more prepared that I didn't previously know about. But yeah, these are two authors that I definitely want to get to and try out, but I'm just so scared, so intimidated. The next author slash universe that I want to someday embark in the next 6 years, Cassie Clare. Good old Cassandra Clare with the Shadowhunters universe. I've seen the show. I do know what goes down in like the first couple, at least, Shadowhunters book. This is the 6th. Oh my god, what a chunky book. I do own the first 5 in the Shadowhunters world. I bought them when I was in high school, but they're just like so big and chunky. I was not actually ready or prepared. So I have them. They scare me. I think Bones of City is a good starting point, but I really need to find a YouTube video where it's like, here's how to read Cassandra Clare, where to start, so that I have a better idea and I don't just like jump into the deep end. But as you're gonna see a theme of very chunky books on this list, which is why I've not yet read them, because chunky books really scare me. I'm a slow, dyslexic little reader, and chunky books and big books are really scary and intimidating. But either way, I do have some, so I need to get better at reading them. And Cassandra Clare's on the list. This next one, I'm terrified of. I'm so scared of this book. This is House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski? Hello, son. This is a horror. She's chunky. She's beautiful. She's mixed media. She's an adventure. I'm really scared about this one. This book has either a complete loved fan base or is absolutely despised and not even often finished by a lot of people. Most people don't seem to make it past the introduction, so that's not concerning or anything. This book was really expensive. This was $50 at Barnes & Noble for the hardcover, which is beautiful. Like, I'm not gonna lie and say that this is not a pretty book. But also, like, she's big, she's expensive, I need to read it, but she's so scary. What if I hate it? What if I can't get past the introduction because this book is too smart for me? I just don't know. I remember when Kayla read this, she read it twice. Once, like, front to back, and then the second time, like, going based off the footnotes and following the, like, little puzzle inside. Oh boy howdy. I do know what this is about. It is about a house. This couple moves into a house that is bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. But that's all that I really know. Is it a ghost story? I don't know. I do know that it's horror. I don't know how scary it gets. I don't know. But she's pretty, at least. This next is a series that I want to read, starting with the first. This is Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. Here's the thing. I've heard great things about the books, about the shows. It's very loved. I thrifted these copies. Yeah, this is the mass market paperback, which I don't love, but it'll be fine. But the thing is, here's the thing. It's not complete, and it will most likely never be complete. I guess it ends, like, in a good place, but it's not technically finished, and that worries me a lot, because what if like I need more and there's just never gonna be more? But what if I'm like, cool, it's done, I'm content, and then there's more? I don't know. I don't actually know what this is about. I've seen the first 3 episodes of the TV show. A wolf died and I tapped out. So I will start this at some point in the next 6 years. I will watch the show. I don't know. The next series that I need to read is going to bring me so much joy, but also potentially so much pain, and I need to read Twilight by Stephenie Meyers. Oh my god, why have I not read this yet? It's because my cousin technically stole... She didn't steal. My mom let her borrow the books and we just never got them back, and she actively like reads them all the time. So they're getting good use, but because of that I don't have them and I have to repurchase them, which is fine. But like, boy howdy, I have to repurchase them, which always just kind of lowers the priority list of books if I have to buy them and they're not like on a current TBR. So maybe this will help push me to buy all of the things that I need to buy. But I am excited. I love the movies with my entire heart. I grew up with them. I used to watch them with my mom when they would come out. They're some of my favorite comfort films. I watch them anytime Austin is away to visit his family or something, or on business. Like, you bet I'm just sitting there scrapbooking and watching Twilight, and it is the best time that I could ever ask for. So I need to read the books. Yeah, they're going to be problematic. I don't think they're necessarily going to be good, but I think they're going to fill something in my heart that I really, really need filled. The next series that I also would like to read, which is probably the most intimidating because I think it's like 9+ books, potentially ongoing, and that's the Outlander series. This has been made into a TV show, which a lot of people say that you don't have to read the books, you can just watch the show. The show does a great job, but I really want to read the books. I know some like die-hard fans. I've been interested in the books since like the beginning of me watching BookTube back in, what, 2010, 2013 maybe. I was really obsessed with watching people read them because I was too intimidated and a little bit young. So I never really got around to them, and now I just like really need to. I really need to. I think it'll make me really happy. All I know about them is that they're time travel books, which I have been learning throughout my time. I'm not a big time traveler fan, so it's a little concerning. What if I do hate them? That's gonna suck. But at the same time, I gotta give them a shot. They're big. I really want the like paperback, like floppy editions, kind of like The Name of the Wind. Like, Outlander comes in a lot of these. I've seen some of them thrifted and I never pick them up, and it's so silly of me. I need to pick them up, but I really want the floppy ones. Speaking of the next book, The Name of the Wind, by Patrick Rothfuss. I have them. Austin ate these up in like 3 seconds. He loves them so much. Quickly became a favorite book of his. I really like to read this. It's very high on my list. Again, it's floppy. We love floppy books here. So I'm definitely going to get to this. If not this year, for sure next year, but I'm really going to try this year because I've heard so much good praise about this. My concern is the 3rd book. Who knows if or when we're going to be getting that 3rd book, and I think that's really disheartening. I'm sure it's being worked on, but there's like not really any news about it. I don't know what these are about, but the cover is really pretty. It gives the vibes, and I'm very excited to read them. But I would be happier if it was completed and there was like a 3rd book. I'm also really sorry for the lighting changes. It got really moody in here. It's Oregon. We're transitioning from winter to spring, and so it's a very cloudy, rainy day. So it's just very moody in here. I wish I was talking about Dark Academia now. I'm so sorry. But next I'm going to talk about Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. I really want to read all of these. I think there's, what, 5? Yeah. I own them. I've had them for a little over a year now, I want to say. Yeah, by Rick Riordan. I have seen the movies. Fans of the book series hate the movies. I love the movies. I genuinely have so much fun with them. I watched them like as soon as they came out on DVD. I thought they were so much fun. I'm a big fan, especially of like the Vegas scenes. The locusts, oh my god, I love it. So I'm really excited. This lighting, oh my god, I'm very excited to finally read the books. I want to read these before the new TV show comes out, which I think is going to be in 2024, so I want to finish the series by then. That helped a little bit. Okay, moving on to the next. This one's a little controversy. This one's a little bit difficult. I'm not sure how I want to go about it quite yet, but for my little child in me, I really would like to read the Harry Potter series, written by the TERF who shall not be named, not be mentioned, because fuck TERFs. That's gonna make YouTube super mad at me, but it's true. I don't support that author. I have been told by my boyfriend, who adored the audiobooks growing up, that they really were just written by Jim Dale, I believe his name is. This lighting, I can't. So that's kind of who I'm going with in my little brain. Jim Dale, I guess, is like an incredible narrator for the series. He also is not without his problems though, so it's kind of, I don't know. I'm not personally, I don't own them. I'm not going to spend my hard-earned cash supporting these kind of authors. It's just not in my morals. I just can't do it. But they are available. The audiobooks are available through my library, so I will listen to them. I don't know if I'm going to talk about them on my channel and like give them reviews or anything. I don't even know if I'm going to like them. I'm going to be entirely honest. But they're definitely something that I, at some point in the next 6 years, would like to read for myself. Yeah. I don't think that helped like a lot, but I think it might have helped a little bit. I'm so sorry, guys. The next series that I want to talk about, After, by Anna Todd. I don't know if I'll ever read beyond this first book. I'm going to be entirely honest with you. I read the fanfics as they were like being released chapter by chapter on Wattpad and Tumblr back in my little One Direction fanfic reading days. So I'm incredibly familiar with the story. I basically grew up with it. It meant a lot to me when I was 12. But it's one of those things that I've seen the movies, they're not great. I don't think this is necessarily going to have aged well. It's been many years since the fanfic came out, so it's not something that I'm like expecting to be good, but I feel like I did spend my money on this book, and it's only right if I read it for my old 13-year-old self, because this was my dream, was to write fanfic and to have it published and to be a published author through it. So I feel like I have to pay the respects to Anna Todd, who sort of paved the way for a lot of people to do that. So yeah, it's on the list. I don't think I'll ever go beyond the first book, but it's on the list. So the next series that I would like to discuss, I do actually have plans for reading this year, and that is The Hunger Games. I missed it. I was not a reading kind of gal growing up because of my insecurities with reading. I didn't think that I was like, it's so silly, but I didn't think I was good enough to read because I was a very slow reader. I was dyslexic. So it's definitely one of those things that I was like, no, not me, I can't. I can't read these books. So I missed out on a lot of the hype with Twilight and with The Hunger Games because I was too scared to read these books because I was so intimidated by them. And so now I'm kind of trying to make up for it now that I am a reader and I enjoy reading, and I don't have that same like insecurity or fear of like not being good enough to read, because that's just stupid and really dumb. But you know, what can you tell a 10-year-old? So it is what it is. I missed the hype with The Hunger Games. Again, I have seen the movies, but I've never read the books, and it's something that I need to do for myself because they're incredibly loved. I think that now that I'm older, the topics at hand are going to be more obvious and a bit more heavy-handed as compared to a 12-year-old reading these books. Probably would have been like, this is revolutionary, but I still think they're going to be a good time. I've heard nothing but great things about them, so I just have to read them. I have a couple other series that I'm interested in that I kind of want to read to like make up for My Lost Time, Shatter Me series. Eliza's been recently reading that and she's been enjoying it. I've seen a lot of girlies on the Bookstagram that I follow reading it and obsessing over the romance in it. So it's definitely a series that I want to get to. I just have to buy the box set, which I think is going to be on sale, and it's not too expensive, so it's definitely doable. But yeah, I'm definitely interested in the Shatter Me series. I also really want to read the Red Queen trilogy, I think, by Victoria Aveyard. This is one of those books that, like, I had my eyes on. I was like 13, staring down these booktubers, just like wishing to be them. One, I didn't have like my own money to just like spend on books willy-nilly like I do now, but I couldn't remember all the books that I wanted when my mom would take me to like Barnes & Noble or whatever, and they're also so expensive. So like you could get like 2 books as a kid, where now I can go to like thrift books or thrift stores and buy like 10,000 books. It's so much easier. Anyway, off topic. The Red Queen was a book that I was so set on reading in my lifetime, and so I'm definitely going to do it in the next 6 years. It's so great. I'm really hoping, like, with this list of like 30 before 30, I read these well before I'm 30 and I don't have to like scramble at 29. Some other books that I have an interest in reading: the Illuminae Files. I have the audiobooks available through my library and I definitely want copies, but there's this set on Etsy. I don't know if it's still for sale, but it's like a custom sprayed edges set that somebody has done of the 3 books, and they're so pretty. They're so pretty, but they're also like kind of expensive. So I haven't really like gone out of my way to buy them. Oh, you're so sweet. But they're definitely something I'm interested in. I hear that it doesn't, like, the first book is the best and then it kind of goes downhill from there for the other 2 books, but I still want to give them a shot and read them. I think that they're sci-fi that I can enjoy. I think they'd be fun to buddy read with my partner, so yes, I want to read them. Another classic series that I'm a little ashamed that I haven't read yet, the Shadow and Bone trilogy / Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo. I know, it's like, how dare I not read these books, because they're incredibly popular, incredibly loved. They're like the backbones of BookTube, and I've just not read them. I haven't seen the show either, though. I refuse to watch the show before I read the books, but I'm not like itching to grab the books either, so they're on the list. I will force myself to read them at some point because I must. In similar vein, I should have grabbed it, but I always forget to. Rae Carson has her Girls of Fire and Thorns trilogy. I believe it's a trilogy, and then there's a spin-off book that I have read without knowing, because that's what happens when you get back into reading. But I really want to read this series so much. I read Empire of Dreams and was obsessed. It was fantastic. It was one of my favorite books of that year, and I've told myself ever since that I'm going to read the original trilogy, and I just haven't yet. So I gotta correct that. I gotta fix that for myself, because it's a series that I enjoyed. I really like the world and the writing style. I need to go back. I just need to do that. This next series is kind of similar. The Diviners Quartet by Libby Libra, something like that. You know of the Diviner series, you understand. I would like to read these, but it's so scary reading series that are complete because you've heard reviews for the books, so I know that it doesn't end as good. I know the first book is like the best, and that it kind of goes downhill, and nobody wanted to read the last book in the series because it wasn't going well, and that's just like a shame, because now I know that information and now I'm like less excited. But I really want to read the first book because everybody enjoys it so much, and I'm a completionist, which means that I'm going to read the whole series at some point, so I just kind of have to accept that. But yeah, it's something that I just want to read them. I just want to be in the know, and I want to read them. The next series, okay, I pulled out the ring light. I'm so sorry. This video and the lighting is so all over the place today, but you know, Sometimes that's just how it be. Okay, welcome to the life of YouTube. Using natural light always makes things so easy. Next, the next series that I want to talk about is The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Myers. I've yet to read a Marissa Myers, which genuinely surprises me and also feels like offensive. Like, I've known of these books for so long. They were like top of my list growing up. I remember being in like middle school, early high school, watching BookTube. The amount of lists that I had for like wish list, insane. But I did just like recently save my inner child a little bit, and I actually bought the Fairy Loot special editions of the Lunar Chronicles. So I don't know when that's gonna be like released. I don't know when I'm getting those, but I'm incredibly excited about them. I have this weird thing about like reading special editions. I just don't typically do it, but oh, I'm so excited to read these. So whenever I get the books, I'm gonna start reading them, and I couldn't be more excited. I have no clue what they're gonna look like either, but I know they're gonna be freaking gorgeous. I hope it was Fairy Loot. It might have been a Luna Crate. I don't remember though. But either way, they were expensive, but I'm not gonna think about it. I'm sure you all know Sabaa Tahir's Quartet, I believe, an Ember in the Ash series. I want to read this so bad. I don't remember what it's about, but I've heard nothing but fantastic things about it over and over and over again, and it's kind of got this like little resurgence happening over on Bookstagram. I've seen a lot of people reading it for the first time, and I'm just like missing out. I'm getting FOMO. I really want to read it with all these people. Yeah, I've heard such good things about all of them. There's not a single book that someone's like, it sucks. So yeah, oh, this series is really high on my priority list, but I don't have like a way to puzzle them in, so I just have to like read them, which I'm not great at, I'm not gonna lie, but I really want to read these. I really, really, really want to read An Ember in the Ashes. Oh my god. More books that I want to read, because this is just a continuous list without any plot because I don't know them. I would like to read it's by Zoraida Cordova, the Labyrinth Lost duology? Trilogy? I think it's a duology. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna lie. I had this on my TBR back in 2022 for Buzzwordathon, but didn't end up getting around to it. And then I recently read The Inheritance of Orcadia Divina and was like, holy cow, I've read this author. I'm familiar with this author. I am absolutely going to put their fantasy series on my to read like before I turn 30, because I didn't love The Inheritance of Orcadia Divina because I don't love magical realism too much, but the writing was beautiful, the world, the magic, like all of it was stunning. It just like it was a personal preference. So I'm hoping that Labyrinth Lost is going to be like the best thing ever. I have really high hopes, really high expectations. I think it's going to be a great time. So it's definitely going on the list. Bing, bing, bing. I also have on this list Furyborn, which is, I believe, is a series, but it could be a standalone. And I have 3 Dark Crowns as well on this list. These could both very well be like so fantasy, but I've heard enough good things and I've seen them enough like around that they've really piqued my interest, and I have a definite desire to read them and pick them up at some point in the next 6 years. I know I keep saying that, but like I don't know what else to say. Home stretch. We've got a couple more to go over. One of them being Naomi Novik. I do have somewhere the first book in the Deadly Education trilogy, but that's not on this list. What is on this list is Spinning Silver and Uprooted. I have such desires for these. I absolutely love these covers, and I think that makes up like 85% of the reason why I want to read them. But I've also heard the most positive reviews about these 2 books over the Deadly Education trilogy. That one's kind of like a very hit or miss trilogy with people, but Spinning Silver and Uprooted have very like fairy tale roots. I think they're both retellings, but I've heard great things, and again, I love these covers so much. I need them. And the last book that I don't own that I want to talk about, I want to read some Stephen King. Is he an interesting human? Absolutely. Is he like a flawless, perfect being? No. Are his books objectively like the best ever? No. I don't know why he's so popular. I've never read him, so maybe his books are the best things ever, but from what I've heard, they're like average books. But he's like the king of horror. He releases books like nobody else, and I desperately want to embark on the journey that is Stephen King's It. I've seen the original movie and I've seen the first part's remake. I don't think I've seen the second part, which is very not great on me. But this is a chunky book. This is a very large book, but I do have an interest in reading it. I do enjoy the movies. Out of all the Stephen King movies that I've seen, this is like my favorite. It's the one that has my interest the most. I also want to read Fairy Tales from Stephen King, which is his like fantasy newer release. She's chunky. She's so big. Like, the audiobook comes in 2 parts. I remember seeing the arc on NetGalley and it was in 2 parts and I was like, that's ridiculous. That's too big. But that's how it goes with Stephen King. Very large. I also want to read Carrie, but I had no interest prior. I like the movie enough, but after reading The Weight of Blood by Tiffany J. Jackson, I'm like, okay, I might read Carrie by Stephen King. So he's on the list. Specifically, It. The next book, I have plans on reading this next month even, but The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Do I have an interest in reading The Golden Finch? Absolutely not. Do I support Donna Tartt? Not really. I've heard some like not great things, but I don't know exactly what her problem is, so I'm not going to get into it. But I do need to read The Secret History. All of Us Villains, no, If We Were Villains, one of my favorite books. Is it similar to my other favorite book? Yeah, the titles are too close. Anyway, The Secret History is very similar to If We Were Villains, except for it's a bunch of prestigious students that like Greek mythology or take Greek. I'm not entirely sure, but they're Greek heads. So yeah, I definitely just like need to read this to fill the hole that I'm missing from more. I just need more dark academia that's similar to If We Were Villains, because it's one of my favorite books and I love it so much. So yeah, I want to read this. I'm going to read it next month. It's not as thick as I thought it would be, and it's pretty floppy, which is also like, I say it's floppy. It won't flop this way. There we go. Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm ready for the commentary that comes with this. I'm ready for the journey. I'm ready. Hopefully I like the characters nearly as much as I did with this. But we'll see. Very soon even. Second to last, The Book Thief. I should have read this in high school. I should have read this in college before I dropped out. I should have read this so much sooner. She's thicker than I ever imagined, but I watched the movie at a kind of young age and I fell in love with it. I really enjoy World War II historical fiction. It's kind of the only time period besides like maybe the Roaring 20s that I would want to consume media of, just because I like the... It's so hard to explain. No, I don't like the death and the tragedies that happened to the Jews, but I do enjoy the positivity that comes from it, the conversations of just like love and strength that comes from these kinds of stories. But I don't remember The Book Thief very well. I remember I really enjoyed the movie that I watched when I was very, very young. So this is definitely one of those like books that I want to visit. It's a classic. And that's all I can really say. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, it's on the list. And the last book, which I have plans on reading this year, we've got Babel. This is Babel by R.F. Kuang. I've heard quite the mixed reviews for this. This is a special edition from Lunacrate. Oh, it's such a time. This is incredibly loved, but also since being released and all of like the fun little field trips people in the UK got to go on, People have actually started speaking about how, like, drawn out this book is, how it's not really what everyone made it out to be. So now I'm not sure where I'm gonna land. I have a friend who's been enjoying this a lot, and I have a friend who stopped reading it because it was putting her in a reading slump. So it's very, like, could go any which way, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm hoping to read it this year. I have the audiobook to pair with it, which is gonna be incredibly beneficial. It's on Scribd if you have Scribd. So I will be getting to it, but I'm hesitant. I haven't read anything else from R.F. Kuang either, so we will see. I'm excited to see how the magic system works more than anything. This is dark academia, talks about colonization. There's a lot of, like, very important conversations happening in this, but I'm a little, like, hesitant on the pace more than anything, but I'm intrigued to see the magic system and how it's gonna work. So I'm really excited to get to this, even though it's hesitant. Anything on this list is I'm excited to read, but I'm hesitant. So that's it. This video has been a ride to film. Between the lighting changes, between the animals going insane, between just poor planning on my part on how to construct this list. So if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me. This was a journey, and I appreciate you sticking around. I'm very excited to read these books. If there's a book that you think I should prioritize, please tell me and I will. Because I have a bad habit of not finishing TBRs. So if you think that there's something I should definitely get to, please let me know, and I will do my best to do that within the next, like, year or two. Some of these I'm gonna try and get to this year, like I had mentioned, and some of them I have no clue when I'm gonna read them. But we're gonna try our best. I will maybe update in, like, a couple of years and be like, where am I at on this list? And if not, you'll see me when I'm 29 scrambling to finish all 30 books. Who knows? It'll be super fun. But that's gonna be it from me. Thank you again for hanging out with me. If you stayed this long, I really appreciate you. Give this video a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe down to my channel below. If you want to see more from me, I post Sunday, Tuesday, Thursdays, and sometimes Saturdays. And if my mental health allows it, I stick to that schedule decently well. But that's it. I'm gonna see you guys very soon. Hope you have a great day, and bye. Oh my god. Oh, I'm sorry.